And action. Hey everyone, the question for today is from Matthew. He had a question about his lifestyle change, but I wanted to call this one Snapshot because I usually refer to taking a snapshot when you've made a major lifestyle change and you're floating at a great level, when you've hit your summit. So sometimes what happens is you know how you got there in the acute phase, in the most recent couple of weeks to months. But in a couple years, it might fade and it'll be hard to recall those small steps that you did to change to get to this great place. So if this is the first time you're finding me, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and the alert button to find out when I put out new videos. Sorry I haven't been around for a while. I took an excursion group to Yosemite and decided to take a break from filming. But I'm back and I have some great ideas, so stay tuned. So the idea of this snapshot, those of you who follow me on Instagram will know I post successes. When patients hit their summits, I like to have them share with other patients because it might get the ones that are out there just kind of, I can't continue, or this diet's killing me, or I can't go on because my fibromyalgia is really hurting. Well, when folks see success, it either makes them jealous or it inspires them. And that's what we need. I mean, if you come in to see me once a year, I can inspire you, but that'll probably fade after a couple weeks. So it's nice for my patients to share, and it's also nice when I see success, and it's just inspiring. So the thing with the snapshot is, if you haven't taken accountability of how you got to this current level, if you're floating really well and your life is good and you're feeling real good, take inventory of how you practice peace every day. Now, you don't have to be a meditator, you don't have to be a yoga practitioner, you don't have to be religious, but there should be some level of peace that you experience. Whether peace is sitting on a park bench or listening to nature or meditation, or having a beer and watching the grandkids giggle. Everybody has their own form of it. Usually I would say, what's your calming practice? And then the average guy would say, well, I'm not stressed out. Well, I got news for you. In the theory of absolutes, it's either you're all stressed or you're all peaceful. And the majority of my guys aren't that peaceful. So I think in the average daily activities, the average lifestyle of an American, I think it's important to sprinkle a peaceful, neutralizing practice throughout the day. And the easiest way to do that is usually at the start and the end of your day. So if you have a guided imagery practice, if you don't even meditate, but you've, say, been an athlete, you know that if you're an athlete like a basketball player, coach will always tell you before you get to the foul line or before you get to throw that free throw, try to practice in your mind's eye. And that's a form of meditation. I mean, if you try to practice that when you're in front of 30,000 people, that's not the best time to practice. If you're trying to get ready for the 100-yard dash or 100-meter dash, and you haven't done it before and you're really nervous, you're going to have a false start if you don't go through your mind's eye about calming. So there is this practice that you can get through, and whether it's guided imagery or meditation or prayer or being in nature, it doesn't matter, but you have to have it. You should do something on a regular basis. That's just as important to neutralize inflammation in the brain as exercise, which is the next bullet point. So take a snapshot of what your peaceful practice is. Take another snapshot of what your non-work activities are. I will have some patients say that they count their steps and that's good enough because they have no more time. But most of those steps occur at work, and whether you're a hairstylist or you work in a hospital or you work on a construction crew, that's cool, but I don't count work activity as exercise. Even if it does take you to points where you can lift 1,000 pounds over your head, or you can hike a mile upward or up 1,000 steps because of work, I'd still say, because it's the pressure of work, it's neutralized. That kind of activity is hit with the stress of a deadline or the stress of other people trying to push you to speed, and that's not the kind of exercise we need. Muscle needs to be stimulated with a kind of peaceful background, but I don't like to have. I like to have other patients think of things outside the box, outside of work, as far as their activity. And even if you do 50 hours a week, or you have 3 kids you're taking care of, a single mom or single parent, it's still important to have a snapshot or a small nugget of activity that you do on a regular basis. Muscle needs that, so don't poo-poo muscle, because if you do, muscle gets weak, weak muscle becomes stiff, stiff muscle becomes painful. And you fibromyalgia patients know that you cannot stay stiff. You have to move. So the other thing is eating, and that's a given. If you have an autoimmune issue, or you have a arthritic issue, or you have a bowel problem, or you have mental fogginess, brain fog, really the kind of nutrition or fuel you put in you will either, again, this theory of absolutes, will either accelerate your problem or negate and neutralize your problem. I'm not asking my patients to buy all organic. I think you have to be thrifty. You have to feed your kids. You have to take care of shelter. But I do ask my patients to be mindful. I talked to another patient the other day, and I told them I would try just to experiment with the fasting diet. And it was easy. I can power my way through 14 to 16 hours of not eating. But the problem was, at the end of the day, when it came time to refuel, my refuel was also associated with a lot of stress from work, or I didn't practice my meditation that day, and I would binge. And that's not good. I mean, even if it's all healthy, if I binge on a lot of healthy food, that's too much volume. I mean, I just blew the whole fasting thing. So there's ins and outs of eating. There's mindful eating. There's eating low pesticide food. There's eating mostly whole food, plant-based diet. So you have to take a snapshot. If you're cruising at a really good altitude right now and no bumps, no turbulence, try to take a snapshot of what your eating practice is. Maybe even do that 2-week diet diary. I have a video, DrRic tutorial 2-week diet diary. That's what I like to have patients take account of as far as their eating practices. And then I also like to see what their fiber content is, their timing, and their volume. So know what you eat. So if you ever fall off the wagon, you can get back to that again. And then the last step would be sleep. It might not make a difference to you, but the hours that you hit as far as going to bed and getting ready for bed, the hours that you hit as far as waking up and starting your day, the naps that you might or might not take, the crash that might or might affect you after 1 p.m., lunchtime, big carbohydrate hit, that's all important. The total hours of sleep per night is all important. The quality of your sleep is important. This is all important. This kind of rounds out the snapshot. So if you use supplements, I should put that too, but actually supplements are part of the nutrition practice, the eating practice. So you should know what you use to get to decent sleep, to wake up refreshed. Some of us will only be able to take advantage of 2 days a week as being really refreshed sleep. That's when you catch up, and that's fine. But if we strain too much, and I'm going to be doing a video on night owls and early birds soon, but if you strain too much throughout the week and all you're doing is catching up on the weekend, your brain will not like that, your muscles won't like that, your gut won't like that. All these things, all these systems are based on repair. Repair happens overnight, and when we don't get a good night's sleep, even if you can say you can get by with 4 hours, which I hear all the time, if you're suffering from a disease process, I would push you to think that 4 hours is actually driving the disease process or your suffering. So average American is supposed to be 8 hours a day, or 8 hours a night. And there's people below and above that line. But for the most part, if you're skimping on the sleep and you're trying to push the envelope and you're hitting the wall, it's probably your sleep. So there's, and I have other videos on sleep and how to reset your clock, so check them out. But that essentially is what I would do, Matthew, as far as taking a snapshot. Congratulations on being so good right now. I will push you to the best that you can be, But just in case we don't see each other for a while, because you're doing so well, you don't have to come back in. This is the beauty of being healthy. You don't have to see your doctor anymore. But if in case we don't see each other for a while, if we fall off the wagon, don't feel bad, but at least we get back to this snapshot of 2018. So for those of you who are just following me now, stay tuned for my next videos. And if you have any questions or you want to hear any videos, just link down below to me and I should be able to get you something of informative discussion. Thanks for watching. See you in the clinic.